Turning now to the nation's capital, where today the Supreme Court heard oral arguments in a case that could limit access to the abortion pill mifepristone, and there are some major implications in this case.
Close to 2 years after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, the justices heard arguments today on the next frontier for reproductive rights: medication abortion. Specifically, whether the FDA was right to expand the use of mifepristone in 2016. It's one of two drugs used in medication abortion that accounts for about 2/3 of all abortions in the U.S. The FDA says the drug is a safe way to end early pregnancies. However, challengers say the FDA disregarded important safety issues when it expanded access.
We're concerned that the FDA has ignored and tossed aside long-standing and really important safety measures that were needed to protect the health care of women.
The Biden administration standing with the FDA.
We will continue to fight back against unprecedented attacks on women's freedom to make their own health decisions.
After the Supreme Court overturned Roe, 14 states banned abortion altogether, and more states limited abortion access. The justices are expected to rule by the end of June in this case.
As we said, today's hearing has some wide-reaching implications.
Yeah, it could make abortion more restrictive in all states and could end up other medicines with new litigation. So now we're bringing in our Dr. Frank McGeorge to get some insight on this.
And I guess the first question is, we're not necessarily talking about, let's say, the legality of this. It's really how it's prescribed and distributed.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's two main offshoots or issues with that. And let me give you a little more background. A couple of years ago, the FDA approved prescribing mifepristone by telemedicine evaluation, distributing it by mail. That is what is being challenged as unsafe by the Alliance Defending Freedom. Now, if they are successful at blocking the FDA, basically their decision, women that cannot go to a clinic for an in-person visit or to pick up the drug in person, they're going to lose access to the drug. The second reason this is a really important decision is that it's going to set a precedent that would basically allow a legal body, the Supreme Court in this case, to reverse a decision that is made by a scientific body, that's the FDA, for reasons that are less than scientific and probably more political in this case.
All right, so Doc, if this challenge is successful, what options would women have in pursuing a medical abortion?
So they wouldn't really have a whole lot of options, actually. Basically, if you can't get to a clinic, you're kind of out of luck, and that's where disparities in access become really important. One alternative, though, is the medication misoprostol. That's the second drug that's usually given in combination with mifepristone. It can be used alone, but the side effects when it's used alone, they're not as well tolerated, and that's really kind of the issue there.
So then how is mifepristone different than Plan B, which has been referenced a lot in the past?
That is a super important issue, and actually Plan B is completely different. Mifepristone is actually used to induce a medical abortion. That is different than Plan B and similar emergency contraception medications. They are taken shortly after unprotected intercourse to prevent a pregnancy from even occurring. They will not cause an abortion, and they are not in any way abortion medications.
So many different layers to this one.
There are.
All right, thank you, Doc. We appreciate it.